Something feels different in Heartland Season 19. The moment the trailer begins, you sense it. The music carries a heavier tone. The camera lingers longer on faces. And most importantly, there is a shadow of tension around Lyndy. She is no longer the cheerful little girl we are used to seeing. Instead, there is a sharpness in her eyes, a quiet resistance, especially when Nathan appears on screen. Fans who watched closely noticed it right away. Lyndy doesn't just look uncomfortable. She looks like she wants nothing to do with him. And that simple reaction might hold the key to the entire season's drama. So why does Lyndy seem to resent Nathan so much? And what clues did the trailer quietly reveal about this QR, the trailer for Season 19? Episode 1 is short, but it is filled with details that demand attention. At first, everything looks familiar. We see the sweeping Alberta landscapes, the wide-open fields, and those classic horseback scenes that make Heartland feel like home. Amy rides out across the ranch with a look that blends determination with worry, a look fans know all too well. Jack appears as the steady figure holding his usual presence of wisdom, a rock for the family. But underneath all of these comforting sights, the trailer carries a thread of unease, and it shows itself most clearly in the moments with Lyndy. We see her watching Nathan from a distance, and her expression isn't warm. It isn't shy either. Instead, it is cautious. Her brows tighten ever so slightly, and she glances toward Amy as if searching for reassurance. It's a blink-and-you-miss-it detail, but that single look is enough to raise questions. A child's instinct in Heartland has always been powerful. Remember how young Lou often sensed family conflicts before the adults spoke them aloud? Or how Amy herself could read into her mother's emotions as a girl? Now it seems that gift has passed on to Lyndy, and the trailer suggests she is picking up on something about Nathan that others have yet to confront. Another important moment comes when Lyndy is shown brushing a horse, only for Nathan to walk into the scene. Instead of smiling, she stiffens. The air changes. Even without dialogue, the body language speaks volumes. The horse shifts uncomfortably, mirroring her mood, and Lyndy steps back slightly as though Nathan's presence is something she wants to avoid. This isn't random. Heartland trailers are carefully edited, and when they highlight such a specific interaction, it means that the writers are preparing us for a storyline where trust, loyalty, and judgment will collide. What makes this even more striking is how the trailer positions Nathan in contrast to other family members. When Jack appears, the camera frames him as strong and protective. When Amy speaks, her scenes glow with emotional weight. But with Nathan, the camera lingers just a little longer, creating an edge of suspicion. It feels deliberate, as though the showrunners want us to question him, but more importantly, to see him through Lyndy's eyes. And what do we see? Distrust. This recap isn't just about the big sweeping shots or the emotional music. It's about the small moments, the expressions, and the silences. The trailer is telling us a story before the first episode even airs. Lyndy doesn't trust Nathan, and this lack of trust is going to shape the way Season 19 unfolds. It won't be loud or explosive at first. It will be subtle, quiet, woven into glances and unspoken words. But make no mistake, this undercurrent of tension is the heart of the trailer, and it leaves fans with one big question. What has Nathan done, or what will he do, to make Lyndy pull away so strongly? Owing conflict? Let's break it all down. There is one thing the trailer makes crystal clear. Lyndy and Nathan are not going to get along. The tension between them doesn't come from loud arguments or direct confrontation. It comes from silence, from looks that last just a little too long, and from the weight of unspoken feelings. Lyndy, still so young, carries herself with the kind of honesty only children have. She doesn't fake a smile when she feels uncomfortable. She doesn't pretend to like someone simply because she's told to. And that honesty is what makes her reactions to Nathan so powerful. When she turns away from him, it feels real. When she stares at him with suspicion, it hits harder than if any adult in the family voiced their doubts. Nathan, on the other hand, seems almost unaware of the effect he has on her. In the trailer, we see moments where he tries to approach Lyndy with what looks like kindness. A gentle hand on the shoulder, a soft smile, maybe even an attempt to strike up a conversation. But instead of warming to him, Lyndy withdraws. She steps back, her body stiffens, and her eyes drop as if she wants the moment to end quickly. It isn't loud, but it is telling. Children are excellent judges of character in Heartland, and the writers have always used their instincts to signal deeper truths. Lyndy's rejection of Nathan could be the first warning sign that he is not as trustworthy as he seems. The more you think about it, the clearer the symbolism becomes. Heartland has always leaned into the idea that animals and children sense danger before adults. Horses spook before humans realize a storm is coming. Dogs bark before strangers appear. And now Lyndy, much like the animals around her, seems to be sensing something in Nathan that no one else does. Her intuition becomes the audience's guide, nudging us to question his motives, his past, and his role in the Bartlett-Fleming family's future. But what makes this conflict truly interesting is that Lyndy isn't rebellious by nature. She isn't a troublemaker, and she isn't known for picking fights. If anything, she has always been portrayed as gentle, curious, and open-hearted. That's why her distance from Nathan stands out so strongly. If a character like Jack were suspicious of him, it would feel normal. Jack distrusts outsiders all the time. But Lyndy pulling away? That is rare. That means something deeper is at play. Something she feels in her heart, but perhaps cannot explain with words yet. One of the most telling moments from the trailer comes when Amy enters the scene. Lyndy looks at her mother not with fear, but with a need for reassurance, almost as though she's silently asking, "Why should I trust this man?" That glance is small, but it reveals volumes. It shows us that Lyndy is caught in a place where her instincts clash with what the adults around her may be expecting. If Amy sees potential in Nathan, will she push Lyndy to accept him? Or will she trust her daughter's instincts? That question is going to shape a lot of the season's emotional weight. This tension doesn't just set up conflict, it builds suspense. The audience is left wondering if Lyndy is right. Is Nathan truly hiding something? Is he simply misunderstood? Or will his presence create a rift between Amy and her daughter? Something the family has rarely faced before. The brilliance of this setup is that the show doesn't need dramatic shouting matches or sudden betrayals. It only needs a child's intuition and a man who can't quite win her over. That is enough to keep fans watching, waiting for the moment when the truth about Nathan finally comes to light. Every season of Heartland reminds us that family is never just about individuals. It's about the invisible threads connecting everyone together. The trust, the loyalty, and the unspoken love that keeps the Bartlett-Fleming clan strong. That's why Lyndy's rejection of Nathan isn't a small detail. It's a spark, and sparks on the Heartland ranch tend to set fires that spread through the entire family. The trailer hints at this ripple effect. At first, it's subtle. Amy looks torn, caught between her daughter's instincts and her own hope to keep the peace. Amy has always carried the weight of keeping the family together, even when her own heart is heavy. So imagine what it means for her to see Lyndy pull back from Nathan. Does she protect her daughter's feelings and risk alienating Nathan? Or does she ask Lyndy to accept him, hoping it's only a phase? That's not an easy choice. And the trailer carefully shows Amy's face in moments where she looks unsettled, as though she's trying to figure out the right path before anyone else notices the tension. Then there's Jack. If Amy is the glue that holds everyone together, Jack is the wall that keeps them safe. He has never been quick to trust outsiders, and if he notices Lyndy's discomfort, that's all he'll need to stand firmly against Nathan. The trailer gives us a glimpse of Jack watching from a distance, his eyes narrowed, his jaw set. Jack doesn't need to speak a word for us to understand what's running through his mind. If Lyndy doesn't feel safe, then Nathan doesn't belong. Jack's protectiveness over his family, especially the youngest generation, is legendary. And if Lyndy becomes the reason he distrusts Nathan, fans can expect fireworks. But the situation becomes more complicated because not everyone may see Nathan the same way. Family dramas thrive on divided loyalties, and the trailer seems to set up exactly that. While Jack might be ready to side with Lyndy without question, other family members could view her reaction differently. Some might see it as childish stubbornness. Others might believe Lyndy is simply afraid of change. This creates a dangerous split within the family. those who instinctively defend Lyndy's feelings, and those who dismiss them as something she'll grow out of. And this is where the real drama unfolds. Because once the Bartlett-Fleming family is divided, every decision becomes heavier. Dinner table conversations turn sharp. Simple chores on the ranch become laced with tension. Amy may find herself at odds with Jack, something that rarely happens, all because of Nathan. And if the family can't agree on whether to welcome Nathan or push him away. Heartland has always been more than just a show about horses and wide-open ranch life. At its core, it's about growth, the way people change when tested, the way relationships bend under pressure, and the way every challenge shapes the characters into something new. That's why Lyndy's uneasy relationship with Nathan isn't just conflict for the sake of drama. It's a turning point for character development, and the trailer gives us plenty of clues about how this storyline will transform the people we know and love. Let's start with Lyndy herself. Up until now, we've seen her as the bright-eyed daughter of Amy, a symbol of hope and innocence for the family. But season 19 hints at a new stage for her. Children grow up fast in Heartland, and Lyndy is beginning to step out of her purely childlike role and into one where her feelings, her instincts, and her voice matter. By rejecting Nathan, even in subtle ways, Lyndy is learning to trust herself. She is developing the courage to stand firm, even if it puts her at odds with the adults around her. That is an enormous step in her journey from being a background presence to becoming a character with influence. Her growth won't come through rebellion, but through honesty, the kind of honesty that forces everyone around her to stop and listen. Then we have Nathan. He's in an interesting position because the trailer paints him as someone who wants to belong, yet can't seem to win Lyndy over. This sets him up for one of two paths. Either he grows into a more genuine, trustworthy figure who earns respect by proving himself, or he doubles down and shows a darker side, confirming Lyndy's instincts. Both possibilities create fertile ground for storytelling. If Nathan chooses growth, his struggle will be about humility and patience, learning that acceptance can't be forced. If he resists, his path may become a cautionary tale about manipulation, pride, and the failure to connect with family. In either case, his character will not remain flat. He is set up to evolve in response to Lyndy's resistance. For Amy, the growth comes in the form of choice. She has always been the steady hand, the one who tries to balance the needs of her family while staying true to her own heart. But now she is pulled into a dilemma that could test her as both a mother and a woman. Supporting Lyndy may mean cutting Nathan out, which could hurt Amy personally. Ignoring Lyndy's instincts may protect her relationship with Nathan, but damage the bond she treasures most, with her daughter. Amy's growth in this season may be about learning to trust the next generation, realizing that even her young daughter has wisdom worth following. It could also be about her accepting that she cannot shield Lyndy from every uncomfortable feeling. Sometimes a child's instinct is the most reliable compass. Jack's growth, while quieter, is equally important. He has always been the rock of Heartland, firm and unshakable. But if Lyndy becomes the center of conflict, Jack may be forced to step into a new role, not just as protector, but as mediator. He might have to find a way to keep the family united while also honoring Lyndy's feelings. For a man who has always been quick to shut the door on people he doesn't trust, this will test his patience and his ability to compromise. Growth for Jack may mean softening his hard edges, or it may mean becoming even more unyielding if Nathan proves unworthy. The trailer's brilliance lies in how it hints at all these possibilities without spelling them out. By showing us just a few glances, a few quiet moments, it invites us to imagine the paths these characters might take. Growth in Heartland is never straightforward. It's painful, messy, and full of choices that cut deep. But it's also what keeps the series alive after so many seasons. And this time, it looks like Lyndy and Nathan's clash will be the storm that pushes every character into uncharted territory. If you've been following the chatter since the trailer dropped, you already know this storyline has lit up the Heartland fanbase. Viewers didn't just notice Lyndy's cold shoulder toward Nathan, they felt it. Social media threads, fan forums, and comment sections are already filled with debates. Some fans are convinced that Lyndy's instinct is spot on, that Nathan is hiding something darker beneath his calm smile. Others believe the show is playing a clever trick, using Lyndy's suspicion to mislead us before revealing that Nathan is actually misunderstood. Either way, the trailer has done exactly what it was designed to do: spark conversation, stir theories, and keep fans restless until the season premiere. One of the most popular theories right now is that Nathan's past will come back to haunt him. Viewers point out that Heartland has a history of introducing new characters who arrive with hidden baggage, secrets that take time to unravel. Could Nathan be carrying a history that explains why Lyndy senses something off? Maybe it's nothing sinister. Maybe it's just pain he hasn't healed from. But to a child like Lyndy, that energy feels unsettling. Fans who lean into this theory argue that Lyndy's rejection is less about danger and more about emotional truth. Children often sense when someone isn't being fully honest, even if adults can't. Another theory takes a sharper turn. Some fans believe Nathan might be set up as a direct antagonist, someone who could drive a wedge into the Bartlett-Fleming family. The idea here is that Lyndy is the first to notice, the canary in the coal mine, warning everyone before the bigger problems arrive. If this is true, then the tension in the trailer is only the beginning of a much larger storm. Imagine Lyndy standing firm against Nathan, while the rest of the family struggles to see what she sees. That kind of storyline wouldn't just add drama. It would put Lyndy at the center of the narrative in a way we haven't seen before. And then there are the softer, more hopeful voices in the fandom. These fans want Nathan to be misunderstood, not malicious. They point to Heartland's long tradition of redemption arcs, where characters who enter with flaws eventually grow into better versions of themselves. If Lyndy starts off disliking Nathan, maybe her journey will be about slowly learning to forgive and open her heart, just as Nathan learns to earn her trust. For fans who love the healing themes of Heartland, this theory is especially appealing. It would allow Lyndy to grow, Nathan to grow, and the family to emerge stronger. Of course, not everyone is thinking so deeply. Some fans simply react with protective energy, echoing the same words across forums. If Lyndy doesn't like him, neither do I. That reaction, raw and immediate, shows just how deeply audiences have bonded with this character. Lyndy has become the soul of the next generation of Heartland. And if she's unhappy, viewers feel it in their own hearts. What makes this moment so unique is how the show has positioned Lyndy not just as Amy's daughter, but as the emotional compass for the entire fan base. When she distrusts someone, we distrust them. When she hurts, we hurt. And when she eventually grows through this conflict, the fans will grow with her. The trailer didn't just tease a new storyline, it set up a conversation that has already taken on a life of its own. The real question now is which theory will prove true. Is Nathan a man with a troubled past who needs redemption? Is he a hidden antagonist waiting to fracture the family? Or is this simply a misunderstanding that will eventually bring Lyndy and Nathan closer? The beauty of Heartland is that it could be any of these, and the writers love to keep us guessing. But one thing is certain, the fans are already hooked, and they'll be watching every glance, every pause, and every tense silence in Episode 1 for clues that confirm their theories. The trailer for Heartland. Season 19, Episode 1 might only last a few minutes, but the conversations it has started could last the entire season. Every glance, every hesitation, every tiny moment between Lyndy and Nathan has opened the door to questions we can't stop asking. This isn't just about whether Lyndy likes Nathan or not. It's about what her instincts mean for the family, what they mean for Amy, and what they mean for us as viewers. Heartland has always thrived on emotional storytelling, and this trailer shows us that the writers know exactly how to use silence, tension, and subtle gestures to keep us guessing. Think about it. Why does a child's distrust feel so much heavier than an adult's suspicion? It's because we believe children see things more clearly. Their hearts haven't been clouded by compromise, by second chances, by the excuses adults so often make. When Lyndy looks at Nathan and doesn't trust him, it feels like the purest truth in the room. That's why fans are already choosing sides, already arguing in comments and forums about what they believe is coming. We aren't just watching a show anymore. We're joining a conversation about trust, family, and the little ways people reveal who they really are. But the brilliance of this setup is that Heartland hasn't given us an answer. The trailer doesn't confirm whether Lyndy is right or wrong, whether Nathan is dangerous or misunderstood. Instead, it leaves us standing on that edge, waiting for the season premiere to tip us in one direction or the other. And that wait is exactly what builds the hype. The silence after the trailer ends is the loudest part, because it's filled with speculation, theory, and anticipation. So where do we go from here? That's where you come in. Every viewer who noticed Lyndy stiffen when Nathan walked into the barn. Every fan who caught that fleeting glance Amy gave her daughter. Every person who rewound the trailer just to study Jack's expression. You all have theories, and those theories matter. Did you feel the same unease as Lyndy? Do you think Nathan is hiding something? The story of Heartland has always been shaped by the people who watch it as much as by the people who write it. Fans keep it alive. Fans breathe life into the quiet spaces between episodes. And now, as we stand on the edge of season 19, the question isn't just what Lyndy will do. It's what you believe she should do. That's the beauty of being part of this community. We don't just consume the story. We wrestle with it, argue about it, and feel it as though it belongs to us. So here's your moment. Share your theory in the comments. Tell us if you trust Nathan, or if you're already bracing for the storm Lyndy seems to sense. Do you think this conflict will tear the family apart, or bring them closer together than ever before? And as always, if you want more breakdowns, more hidden detail analysis, and more Heartland storytelling, make sure you subscribe, because this is only the beginning of the journey into season 19. Heartland has never been about simple answers. It's about the long road, the slow healing, the family bonds tested by fire and strengthened by love. And now, as we wait for episode 1, one truth remains. Whatever Lyndy has seen in Nathan, it will change everything. At the end of the day, a trailer is just a glimpse, a carefully chosen series of moments stitched together to stir emotion and spark curiosity. But sometimes, those fleeting images tell us more than an entire episode ever could. In the case of Heartland Season 19, Episode 1, the most powerful image is not a wide shot of the ranch, not a horseback ride across the Alberta horizon, but the small, sharp glance of a young girl who does not trust the man standing before her. That single look from Lyndy has already become the heartbeat of this new season. When we think of Heartland, we often think of Amy's quiet strength, Jack's wisdom, or the enduring resilience of the ranch itself. But in this moment, it is Lyndy who takes center stage. Lyndy who forces us to ask the hardest questions. Children in this series have always been symbols of truth, and now her intuition has placed a shadow over Nathan that may not lift anytime soon. Whether Nathan turns out to be a threat, a misunderstood outsider, or a flawed man searching for redemption, his story will forever be tied to how Lyndy feels about him. And through her, the entire Bartlett-Fleming family will be tested. The beauty of this storyline is that it doesn't rely on explosions or shock twists. It relies on something real, something deeply human. The fragile bond of trust within a family. Trust is the lifeblood of Heartland. Without it, the ranch is just wood and stone. With it, the ranch becomes a home, a sanctuary, a place where healing happens. And now we are about to see what happens when that trust is shaken by a child's honest instinct. Fans are ready. They've analyzed the trailer frame by frame, debated theories late into the night, and chosen sides before the season even begins. Some are bracing for Nathan to reveal a darker side. Some are holding on to hope that this will be a story of forgiveness. And some, perhaps the most protective of all, are simply saying, if Lyndy doesn't like him, then neither do I. That kind of passion, that kind of loyalty, is what makes Heartland more than just a television series. It makes it a shared journey, one that grows richer with every season. So as we wait for the premiere, one truth becomes clear. This season won't just be about horses or ranch life, or even the struggles of adulthood. It will be about a child finding her voice, a family learning how to listen, and a new character who must either rise to the challenge or fall under the weight of suspicion. Lyndy's instincts have set the stage, But it is the choices of every character that will write the story from here. The question now lingers in the silence after the trailer fades to black. Can Nathan win Lyndy's trust? Or has her heart already seen something the rest of us are blind to? The answer lies in Season 19, Episode 1, and beyond that, in the chapters still unwritten. Until then, one thing is certain. Heartland has once again given us a reason to care, to debate, and to count down the days until we ride back into the story.